Are you one of these people who've heard about the power of AI and how it's going to transform your business? But if you've been really honest, you still don't understand it and you still don't understand how it's going to transform your business. Well, believe me, you're not alone. And that's why I've decided to make this video series all about Copilot. In today's video, we're going to concentrate on something called Copilot Agents. But before we get into all the content, just a quick intro as always. My name is Jonathan Edwards, also known as the Bearded 365 Guy. We help businesses all over the world with their Microsoft 365. You can find more information at bearded365guy.com. Now, if you didn't know already, Copilot is Microsoft's AI offering. Now, when it comes to Copilot or other AI products, this is how I see it. They are there to make your business more efficient. They are there to be able to make you do more with less. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, let's look at an example. You own a business and you employ a HR officer. They're there to make sure that you look after all your members of staff and to make sure that you do everything correctly and legally. Let's call this person Percy. So what does Percy do on a daily and weekly basis? Well, it looks after recruitment for starters. So it publishes social media posts and recruits new team members. He's part of the senior management team, so he has meetings with all the board members. Plus, Percy likes to keep up to date on new HR regulations, just to make sure he's doing his job right. Now, these are all quite high-level tasks, but mixed with all of those, Percy has a lot of admin tasks to do as well. For example, every single day he has a barrage of emails, Teams messages, and even phone calls, asking questions such as, how many vacation days do I get every year? I'm thinking about having baby. How does that work with my pay? If I'm sick for whatever reason, do I still get paid? I'm about to do some mileage in my own car. How do I get reimbursed for that? Now, this admin work, Percy says, can take up to 20 to 30% of his entire work week. Now, imagine this. We build a Copilot agent and we call it something like Harry HR. We give Harry all the information he needs on our company policies and procedures. We load him up with all the knowledge. We then publish this Copilot agent into Microsoft Teams. And instead of people pestering Percy with all these questions, they can simply ask Harry HR, the Copilot agent. What's the end result? It means that Percy gets 20 to 30% of his daily and weekly work life back. It means that Percy can concentrate on even more higher level tasks. Now, we've just spoken about one person in the business. What happened if we went round every person in your business? We looked at every process in every department and we used Copilot to automate 20, 30, or even 40% of these tasks. What would your business do with 40% more resource? Now, all of this can be achieved by using something called Copilot Agents, and it's very easy to do. Now, in a while, we're going to get onto a demo of how you create these agents. But before we go to that, you might want to know how much they cost. Let me show you. So here is our Microsoft 365 Copilot pricing guide. You can see that there are two products. There is Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, which is free and based on consumption. And there is Microsoft 365 Copilot, which is $30 per user per month. Now, in a previous video, we covered the chat function here. So if you've not watched that, I urge you to do so. But in today's video, we're talking about agents, okay? Now, you can see that both with the free plan and the pay plan, you can create agents. Now, there's a bit of a difference when we come down to here. So again, in both the free plan and the pay plan, you can use agents that are grounded in web data. So what does this mean? Well, the word grounded might seem a bit confusing. All this means is where Copilot gets its information from. So with both the free version and the paid version, the Copilot agents will get its information from the public internet. But we've got this line here, look, use agents grounded in work data. So what does that mean? Well, it means that Copilot can get its information from your Microsoft 365 data. Things like Outlook, Teams, OneDrive, SharePoint. So because Copilot can get into your Microsoft 365 data, it makes it that much more powerful. Now when we move over to here, you can see that the paid version has this included, whereas the free version has this triangle here. And that means that feature is actually metered. It's like pay as you go. So if you are using the free version of Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, yes, you can still make the agent look into your Microsoft 365 data, but you will pay for that. How much will you pay for that? Well, let's go over to this screen here. And you can see, so we're not talking about that one here because that's what we've discussed. That's the $30 a user. So you've got a couple of options. You can pay $200 per month, and with that, you get 25,000 messages. So a message is when Copilot goes away and comes back with an answer. That is like a message. So you get 25,000 of those, which is a lot. Now, you might be thinking, well, $200, 25,000 messages. It's a bit of overkill. We're actually just getting started with it. So we want to test it out and things like that. Well, then you would go with this one here, Microsoft Copilot Studio, pay as you go. So the next question is, how much is pay as you go? Well, let's go over to this tab here, okay? This is the Copilot Studio pay as you go pricing. Now you choose your region. So we've got United States. I'm in the United Kingdom, and I want my currency to be in UK pounds. You can see here, look, we pay a penny per message. So if you're just getting started with it, you can go with the free version of Copilot Chat, and you can simply pay a penny a message. So Microsoft are making it really easy and really accessible for you to get started with Copilot agents. Okay, we've talked about pricing. Now let's get into the demo itself. Now you might be thinking, oh, creating agents? I don't work in IT. I'm not a coder. This isn't something for me. But Microsoft are making it very easy for anyone to create basic agents. So time for the demo. What exactly am I going to show you? Well, I'm going to create a very basic HR Copilot agent, and it's going to reference lots of our policies and procedures which exist in a SharePoint site. Are you ready to have a look? Let's go. So I've logged in to the Microsoft 365 portal, m365.cloud.microsoft. I've used my Microsoft 365 credentials. I'm then greeted with this page here. Now this page has been renamed recently to Microsoft 365 Copilot. Copilot is everywhere. Down the left-hand side, you can see that I've got Copilot pinned. If it's not pinned, you can go into your apps, you can find it, and you can pin it. So when I launch this, it will launch the Copilot chat window. Now, we discussed this in a previous video, so if you've not seen it, then you can go back and you can learn all about Copilot chat. But what I want to focus on here are these agents down here. So you can see I've got a couple of options. I've got Get Agents or Create an Agent. So firstly, what are Get Agents? Well, if I click on here, and then we get a list of lots of pre-built agents that we can use. Now, these agents have been made by different companies. Lots of them, as you can see here, this one has been made by Microsoft. But you've got a lot of third-party companies as well. For example, Dropbox. Dropbox have made an agent as well. So you can look at what that agent does, and if you like it, you can add it, okay? So, as I said, these are off the shelf. If I just look at this one here, if I like the look of this, I can simply click on Add. And you can see that that agent is now added into my Copilot chat. Okay, and this agent has got some recommended prompts that we can ask the agent. So if I go like this, click on here, okay, and then we can use that agent. And if we don't want this agent anymore, I can simply uninstall it. So they're the pre-built agents. There's nothing really to say there. How do we create our own agent? Well, obviously we go and we create an agent. So this opens something called Copilot Studio. And Copilot Studio is where we build agents. Now this is a little bit of a dumbed down basic version of Copilot Studio. And this is for people like you and I, end users, to build agents quickly. Now, Copilot Studio also has a full version. You can see here, look, opening full version. Linking to the full version isn't supported yet, but what we can do to get there is simply type in copilotstudio.microsoft.com, and that will open the full version of Copilot Studio. Now, that is much more advanced. In a few weeks' time, I will have a video about how to build an agent using the full version of Copilot Studio. But today, it's just all about getting started and helping you get the knowledge. So this is my Copilot Studio homepage. So starting at the top, I can go to my Copilot agents and I can view all the agents that I've created. I've then got a couple of tabs here. I've got describe and configure. So what I can do, I can describe the agent that I want to build to Copilot, okay? Or I can configure it. I prefer this method here. Then at this side here is kind of our test area where we can test the agent, okay? So I'm going to hop over to configure because I do prefer that. And the first thing I want to do is fill out the details tab here. So what I can do, I can upload an icon, I can change background colors, I can do all of those things. It tells us that the icon needs to be PNG and less than 1 meg in size, okay? So that's the first thing I can do, just make it look a little bit more like a HR bot. Then I give it a name. So I'm going to call this Harry HR. So Harry HR is our AI HR bot, okay? Let's describe the agent. So I've got this description here, and you can see this appears on the agent itself. So it's really important to get a really nice description for your end users. Harry HR is our HR Copilot agent. He knows everything about our policies and procedures. He can answer questions. If Harry doesn't know, ask a real person, okay? So whatever you want to put here for users to see, you put that in the description. Next, we move on to the instructions. So we've got to instruct our Copilot agent how to behave, what things to say, what things not to say. Do we want our agent to be professional or funny or firm or any other way? The thing to realize here is Copilot isn't magic. It only works how we program it to work. Now, when it comes to instructions, there's lots of information on the internet about the kind of things, best practices, and things like that, what to include, what not to include. So I'm just going to copy this here, okay, because I want my Copilot agent to be friendly. And just to make things a little bit easier for the demo, I will copy that into here, okay? I want my tone to be friendly, helpful, cheerful, expressive, all those things, okay? I'm just going to scroll down a little bit here now. Now, the knowledge. So where is Copilot going to get its knowledge from in order to effectively respond to the people who are asking HR questions? You can see I've got a browse tab, so I can upload files. So I could create Word documents, I could create PowerPoint presentations, and I could upload them so Copilot can use them as knowledge. Or, as you can see here, I can use SharePoint URLs. So in my example here, I'm going to click on Browse. Okay, I'm going to go into Bearded 365 Guy. I've got a SharePoint site. And in there, I've uploaded lots of different HR policies. So I can click on here and you can see there's all my policies. Nice and easy, okay? So our HR person, she spends 20-30% of her day just answering questions about these policies because people within the business, they're too lazy to read them, they don't understand them, so she answers questions. So I'm going to create my knowledge base based on this. I'll click on Select, and you can see that that folder is now there as knowledge. I can also say to Copilot, can you also use web content on the public internet? But because this is HR, I don't want that. This is an internal agent, so I'm going to leave that switched off. Actions, we're going to talk about in another video when we talk about the full version of Copilot Studio. And then I'm going to come down here to the starter prompts. So what do these mean? Well, these starter prompts are just common questions that people might ask in your business. And they just give people a bit of an idea about what they can use Harry HR for. And they will appear here. So let me show you. So the first one I will type in here, title is vacation. And the message I will put here How do I book vacation days? And you can see that that has appeared here. So I'll add a few more in here now. Okay, I've added some starter prompts and some messages, and you can see that those appear on here. So they appear on the agent. So when someone launches the agent, they can see this. They get the name of the agent, a description, and some example things. And these might be the common questions that you get asked. So what I can now do is I can test this agent. So I will click on here as a user, and that will put the question to the bottom here. And then let's ask Harry HR how I book vacation days. What it should be now doing is looking in this folder here and coming back with the answer. And it has. Okay, hello Jonathan, smiley emoji. Because if you remember, we put the instructions here that we want our agents to be friendly and cheerful. And what Copilot Agent has done is it's looked in HR policies, it's looked into the vacation policy, and it's come up with this answer. Okay, I can retest the policy again. Let's have a new chat. How do I get reimbursed for my expenses? Okay, it's going to go away again. And it's come back with this, look. To get reimbursed for expenses, you need to follow the guidelines in the policy. It's summarized those, and it's also referred to the policy. So our Copilot Agent so far, it's been really helpful. But all I've done so far is use the pre-built starter prompts. What if I ask it another question? Okay, something like this. Okay, can you give me some advice on how to manage passwords in our business? Now, I know that in our IT and communications policy, there is something about passwords. So can Copilot go into there, and what's it going to bring back for us? As you can see, it's found our communications policy and it's given the answer from there. So as you can see now, Copilot is starting to become really helpful. But what about if I ask a question that I know isn't inside of the HR policy? So maybe a new chat again, ask it something like this. Do you like ice cream? So what's Copilot going to say about that? And there you go. Even though we've asked it a question outside of our knowledge base, again, our friendly, our emoji-based Harry HR has replied. So once we're happy with our Copilot agent, what we can do is we can click on Create, and that will create our agent. Okay, our agent has been created. It says this link only works for you. You can change this now, specific users or anyone in our organization. Okay. And then we've got to talk about security. So I've used a SharePoint site there. We've got to make sure that the users have access to that so our agent behaves consistently. I can click on Save, and there we have it. So click on Close. Now I can share this agent with other people in my organization. Just a word of warning. So I've shared this with a user in my business who doesn't have the full Copilot license, and when he tries to add this to his Copilot agents, he gets a message saying you need a Copilot license to use this app. So within this tenancy, I've not set up pay-as-you-go billing for the free agents, and only one user has the full Copilot for Microsoft 365 app. But I hope that's giving you a flavor about Copilot agents. So I hope you've enjoyed today's demo. Today we've touched on just the very basics of Copilot agents. In future videos, we're going deeper. We're going to do more advanced Copilot agents. I can't wait to show you the power of what it can do for your business. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. Look forward to seeing you again soon.